Once upon a time, two boys grew up playing hockey in the village of Terrace, British Columbia. One of them went on to play in the National Hockey League. The other became a comedian. Now, one flies planes and coaches youth hockey. The other is still a comedian and owns newsstands. This is their podcast, Enjoying Orange Slices with Jeff and Ian.
Recording is in progress. The show is Enjoying Orange Slices. The guy is Jeff Sharples, right back from Hawaii. My name's Ian Bagg. I came in from, where was I this weekend? Holy crap. I was in Madison, Wisconsin and West Bend, Wisconsin. So
Nice.
basically Milwaukee. Little bit different temperature than you had.
Yes, a little bit. Did you have some cheese out there? Some good.
Did some squeaky cheese?
Yeah.
That's
What'd you have?
we tried what did the cheese curd, but it had bacon and barbecue sauce in it.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
Wow.
those people know how to live when it comes to cheese.
Good people out there. A little chilly.
Little
out
chilly,
there.
little nipply.
Yeah.
Two
Yeah.
theaters though. Two theaters, 92% sold out on both theaters, so I was happy.
Oh, there you go, bragging again.
Yeah, humble, so humble, so humble, humble, humble. But hockey started again. And what do I think of that? Have you watched any games?
Yeah, I have. Actually, I was able to watch some games.
Were you able to watch game 7? Or game 7? Were you able to the finals? Were you able to watch the finals?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
What
Did you have to ask? Did you have to ask for it to be put on?
No, I have a funny story. I was waiting for Millard might or might not join us, but I thought it would be a funny story when he came on. But since you asked
let's
me,
leave it.
I'm going to tell it. No, I'm going to
Okay.
tell it. So we were over in
We'll
Maui.
repeat it again later.
I was over. Yeah, I'll just straight. I was over in Maui. We were over in Maui. So now I'm back in the ninth island of Vegas. But I was able to watch. Let's see. We were able to watch a couple of the games. Well, actually, we saw all the games over there when we were there. And then the final game, I was in this restaurant, and it was restaurant bar, really cool spot. And I said to the guy that was running it, I think his name was Chris. I'm like, Chris, the manager. I go, hey, Chris. I go, any chance that we can get the U.S. Canada game on tomorrow afternoon? He goes, looks at me, he goes, well, he says, well, it would be a crime not to put it on. So yeah, it'll
That's
be
funny.
on. I couldn't
It'd
believe
be
it.
a crime not to have it on.
In Maui, I could not believe it. So I watched just as much hockey. Well, maybe not quite as much, but when I watched hockey in Maui, in Hawaii, that is how crazy the Four Nations was. No one could have ever dreamed it would be that big. And then I heard the other day, the most watched hockey game ever was USA Canada. And I think it was just ESPN had almost 10 million people watching it. So
Game one or game 2?
The final. Game 1 had over 5 million. So if you combine that with what was watching in Canada, you're probably, I imagine Canada's almost equal, probably 15 to 20 million people. So just what we needed.
Game 1 set the table. That's what it set the table and got everybody to come to dinner. And then dinner was served in game 2.
It got me thinking, if you got people putting hockey on in Maui, then you got to go, like you are, I know a lot of people from the West Coast hockey fans over there, but when you're in Hawaii, like there's always surfing on the TV because why wouldn't there be, right? But
yes.
When there's hockey on, we went into a pizza place the other night, and the Kings and the Golden Knights were on.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's like
looks just like being at home.
Yeah, it's like this is great. So we could sit there and watch that. But yeah, almost 10 million people watching it. So there's some collateral damage coming out of the Four Nations, though, for certain teams and players, which is
well,
unfortunate.
I wanted to discuss mental collateral damage. So Hellebuyck loses. Do you think Hellebuyck goes, I need to win the Stanley Cup now, or do you think it sets him back?
He went in again and played 2 nights ago and allowed 1 goal. So I think
He's back.
I don't think he ever wasn't back. You know, he gave the U.S. all the goaltending they needed to win. It just so happened that Bennington, I mean, there was some stuff that if Bennington didn't see it, it hit him. Played a great game in the final game for Team Canada. So I don't think you come out of that other than the disappointment of not winning. I look at it this way. It took the best player in the world, and Connor McDavid, to make a play to win that game, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
he did. And he got it. I think it was Marner threw it out to him. And that thing was top shelf, just like that. And so
It was it
you're
was a
getting
goal. It was
the
a
best.
goal. There was
Yeah.
no saying no to that goal. It was a goal. It was
So
fa the funny part, I stirred it up on the old social media. I said, "Oh, good. Oh, it's all good, but Russia would have won this tournament had they been in it." And people lost their minds.
uh,
Oh, they called me a commie. They called me, like, oh, it was so funny.
that's when I just love being just riding shotgun with you with
It's fun.
because
I love to stir it up. I love to stir it up. I get that from my old man. Just say something, watch the fire begin. But it's funny. Had Russia been in it, one of those teams would not have been in the finals.
well,
Guaranteed.
here's the thing. Molson just came in to say hi. Hi, buddy.
Hey, Molson.
He's trying to figure out how to jump
It's a
up here.
dog. It's the dog. It's not Jeff being all drunk and a beer coming in to say hi to him.
Yeah,
Here,
no,
what's
that's
up?
right. That's he's a good guy. You know, here's the thing. I would have loved to have seen Russia or a world team. We've talked about it. People are sick of
A
hearing about
world
it.
team.
But we were able to reignite. Back in the day,
Oh,
it used to be Canada and Russia, and now
hmm.
it's USA and Canada, and we need to find a way to get Russia back to the party, whatever they want to call them. No, like you need to have those guys involved. But let's just use this for what it was. It was fantastic, and the beyond the wildest dreams. And after game one, the first couple games, everyone kind of got their feet wet, and then the tournament was on. And what's ironic about this is no one talks about the Swedes. The Swedes are the only team to get a point in every game. So look out for them in the Olympics.
Well, here, okay. If you want to bring up the Olympics, here's just everybody's
No, I
like,
don't.
oh,
But
oh, oh, the Olympics is just going to be part two of this. Well, it's going to be very different. First of all,
yes, yes,
Olympic ice.
yeah.
Number one thing is Olympic ice. So the European teams are going to be even better on the Olympic ice. And you can't fight. There's no like nobody said because you get kicked out of the Olympics if you fight.
Yeah,
There's no there's no like 10-minute misconduct. You're gone. You're gone from the Olympics. You're asked to leave. It's the amateur sport rules or whatever. So good luck. You know what I mean? So you're gonna see the change. You might see the teams change a little bit more.
well, and you're also not going to see it in prime time over here, right? You're going to see it at different times because Italy is at least 9 hours ahead. I'm going to say what, 6 hours ahead on the East
It'll be
Coast.
fine. It'll be fine. They have a siesta.
But it's going to come at you like different ways. And now the U.S. and Canada, who knows? The Olympic Committee might be just like, we don't care. You guys are playing at 10 a.m. in Italy, at our noon and middle of the night over here. So there's a lot of really good things that are building from this. Mallard, he's gonna if he joins us, he can get on and get all fired up about it. But
Oh, Mally.
he next year we have the Olympics. The year after that, the NHL All-Star game.
That's when it's hi, Darren. Guess what we were talking about? Hawaii.
Oh, really? I've never been to Hawaii. I would
Are you
like to go
serious?
one day.
Yeah.
He's just a poor boy from a poor family.
I've been to Brandon a lot, but I've never been to Hawaii.
It's a
Was
little
it
bit different.
cool?
Little
It's the same.
different.
Same
Did you go
amount
in
of
the water?
surfing.
Oh, yeah, we went on this one snorkel adventure out to one of the islands, and it was
You swam all
incredible.
the way to the island?
No, we used a boat to get there,
Oh,
but
I love it. You guys are going at each other
Maui,
right away. I
yeah,
love it.
it's awesome. So a lot of people with sunburns over there, I noticed. So we tried to you got to wear a long sleeve shirt, which doesn't really sound, and make sure you got your bucket on a lot so you don't burn your arms and your face off. But other than
Sounds
that,
just like Brandon.
yeah, very
Long
similar
shirt
with
man.
minus the wind.
And
It's windy.
Balaclava.
Hey,
mosquitoes and mosquitoes.
yeah. Did you say lava? Not as much.
Balaclava.
Oh, okay.
But lava
Hey,
works too,
Mallard, we were just talking. Your name was just come up, and in the nicest possible way.
because I was in the waiting room.
Yeah, well, until you texted, I didn't. I was like, "Oh, hey, he's there."
I said, guess who's sitting in the waiting room waiting to snap on our ideas?
Tell us about. Okay, so we were talking about where this goes from here. That we haven't got to the resumption of the season. We're just kind of wrapping up the Four Nations. So 10 million people at the ESPN, and then we go to the Olympics next year. And Lord Bagg was talking about how much different it's going to be. First of all,
Because
do you think? Yeah, well, do you think it's going to be different? And are you going to be working the Olympics next year?
ooh,
My name is in,
Okay.
but I've told them that I really only want to do hockey, like no other sports. So
fair enough.
I may have inadvertently taken myself out. We don't know yet, but if I go, I only want to do hockey.
Okay. Now, here's a question for you. Do you think the IOC is going to look at what happened with the Four Nations and try and put Canada, US, for example, or some of the other big names that are going to be in the tournament in a kind of a prime time slot, or because we're talking time
that
difference.
happens. That does happen.
Okay, so we weren't sure about that, so that will happen.
A more North American TV friendly time slot
Okay.
will occur.
Okay, very good.
Yeah, the same way that Sweden and Finland played in a more European friendly time slot at the Four Nations
Oh, yeah.
afternoon, which
Yeah.
allowed them to be more visible.
There you go. There you go.
And you can
Okay.
you can do the same over there for the European teams because they'll be on that time zone, so it'll be pretty easy for them to do that
on
with
that time zone.
that time zone.
That was
People
very
like
specific.
fish.
They'll be on that time zone, so it should work. Yes,
One
they
of
do.
them.
They do take that into account.
You were waiting
Did
for
you
it.
did
Took
you
the
see
bait.
Lord did you see Lord Bagg's response to the Four Nations? Did you happen
No.
to see that? Why don't you
I
tell
said-
him, LB?
I
We're going to
said,
start
I
reiterating.
said it was great that Canada won, but if Russia had been in this tournament, they would have won. And people
Why would you do that?
just to watch people lose their shit.
Like as a Canadian, you should be waving the flag
I
as
did
much
as I was
ever
saying
right
it.
now.
I did it as I was saying it. I was like, man, Russia would have kicked our ass.
Don't troll. Canada needs. I thoroughly enjoyed John Cooper talking about how Canada needed a win, not the players.
Canada needed
No,
to
I
win.
agree
The
with that
nation needed a win,
100%.
and I'm
We've been
with them on that.
We've been struggling as a country, and no, I thought it was fantastic. It was just a fun night. We go back to the Olympics, Jeff. The thing that I said was going to be different was Olympic ice is going to change the game
No,
completely.
no,
Bullshit.
They don't play in the big ice anymore.
Oh, when did that change?
A number of years ago.
Because they had to put a track around the outside of it.
But here's the problem. If you're gonna play Olympic games, you play Olympic games.
No, they don't play the international ice surface.
No, they should have to make a pass and it stops stops 2 feet short for them.
It boggles my mind that there's still Olympic ice surfaces in North America. I don't understand why there's those surfaces in probably how many would there be in Canada? There probably 30 or 40 of them.
There's one in LA.
Yeah, why you have those big ice surfaces? It's a waste of space, really. And like knock it down and come to the NHL ice surface. Now there's a hybrid. There's something in between the big surface and the NHL rules that is used sometimes, but they don't use the big rink anymore.
Then there's that game in India where they use it like a horse track. Have you seen that? Like it's fantastic. Like they use Have you seen it?
No, but the game in Finland that is on like a soccer field on skates.
Yeah, there's also one in India the same kind of way. It's so crazy.
Wild.
And the net's huge, right?
Yes.
The net's huge. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's pretty fantastic.
There's no way I'm playing that. And it's outdoors because you can't find a building big enough to.
Yeah, because it's 3 airport hangars put together.
I will think of that. That's it's really cool, and that's some players come from that. They play that growing up, and they're such great skaters that it adapts very well to our game.
Hey, I have a
didn't know that.
question that's a little bit different.
hand
I'm
up,
going
please.
to bring you back from India, a little ways. Here's the question: do you think now that the Tkachuk brothers
No. Next
took
question.
everything by storm in the States, do you think that there will be a push now by an American team to try and pry Brady out of Ottawa? Because Matthew was on late night the other night. Uh, we talked about how they're the face of the nation when it comes to USA hockey now. What do you guys think? Do you think that there's going to be? Do you think there's a team out
Why
there going?
wouldn't you?
Not
Why
only
wouldn't
do
you be
we
trying?
want him, this kid is so marketable down here in the States, and he's in Ottawa, so it's kind of like Connor McDavid in Edmonton. He's the star of Canada. I mean, a lot of the great players.
I'll answer
Obviously.
first, and then Darren can yell at me. But I have a question before I answer that. Do you know how long Brady has in Ottawa?
I think he's got another 4, maybe 5 years. He just signed an extension a year or two ago, so he's still got, let's say, at least 4 years, I believe, left.
So
Millard would know better than I
a lot
would.
has got to come back to Ottawa, and it's hard to get things to go back to Ottawa. So I would not. I think yes. Why wouldn't you be trying to get him, right? But how do you get him out of there with how many people have no trades and stuff, and getting people to go to Ottawa because it's not a destination, you know? So I think it'd be the toughest thing to do. So you probably have to wait until he's free agent, right?
I saw 4 people on a stage last night, all wanting to go to Ottawa.
They were called politicians.
Yes, but they were all wanting to go to Ottawa.
They all wanted to be prime minister.
They did. Imagine that you win one competition, you get to be prime minister. It's one of the greatest of all time.
That'd be fantastic.
What were you watching? Was it the Liberals or what? What were you doing?
Yeah, I was just keeping track of what's going on.
Okay, so
here's Brady. Brady's got 3 years left after this year.
And he's how old?
Does he
26?
Brady Tkachuk's 25. Does Brady go down the path of what Matthew did when his contract was up? He said, "I'm not re-signing with the Calgary Flames." He gave plenty of runway, and they made a deal, which at the time I liked the deal. Huberdeau's been up and down, and he's up right now, but that could be what happens there. Now, Brady's the captain in Ottawa. Does that mean that he's got more commitment to the organization than a player that's not wearing the C? I could see one side saying yes and one side saying it's a business, but for the next 2 years, they're not trading him for the next 2 years. He's a member of the Ottawa Senators, and if they can turn it around and they start winning, that helps you maintain your players and your assets.
Well, and don't forget, he's already re-signed there once, so the commitment on that side's already there.
But as an RFA though, when you're unrestricted, it's totally different.
Yeah, true that. But I mean, he could have done a bridge deal. He didn't. So, meaning a 1 or 2 year deal, like some guys do. But I think the way Ottawa's trending, he's probably pretty happy there right now. They're right in the mix to get in the wild card. And what'll really change for him is if they have success in Ottawa, but what also, if they go on and win the Olympic gold next year, that will inflate him and most likely Matthew even more. Matthew's good in Florida. He's got the world by the tail right now, Brady Tkachuk does. So, pretty fun to watch a guy run around like he's like a bull. Like, I mean, people that maybe hadn't seen him play before, I'm sure a ton of people in the States hadn't seen him play.
No, he's his dad. Brady Tkachuk is his dad.
He's unbelievable. And
he's great.
and you know what? Matthews got a little bit more gamesmanship in him, where Brady's just like, I'm coming. And I didn't realize this. I knew he's 6'4". Is he 235 pounds? Is that what he is? Is he that? He's built like Ovi.
He's much taller than I ever. When I see him, I go, every time, he's bigger than I thought. I say that to myself every time.
Really? You're surprised how big he is every time.
Yeah, when he skates, he doesn't look
big.
That massive hulking human being, but he's huge.
His dad was the same way, right?
Yeah.
Just a
But
fucking
did his dad
massive.
hit as hard? I guess he did. I guess he was a real. Yeah, I guess he's very
212.
Okay, so someone said he was up to 235. But it doesn't matter. He's a bull moose out there with these guys, and you kind of wonder if Canada, even though they walked away with it, if they look at a guy like a Tom Wilson. But the Olympic Games are going to be a little bit different than the Four Nations.
That was the other thing I said. No fighting in the Olympics. And okay, are we allowed fighting in the Olympics? Have we changed the rink and fighting in the Olympics?
No, you're still using 2 nets and a puck.
Okay, yeah, no lines. It's actually on a curling rink.
You know what I'd like to see? I know they've got the trapezoid there, so the goaltenders can't play the puck. I'd like to see them bring the net out half a foot to a foot. Not much, half a foot, and we'd create a lot more down low stuff. Look at this. He hates it.
I love it.
He hates it. He came in swinging right away.
He usually hates my ideas, but he's just
he
changed.
Really hates this.
Now he's hating both our ideas.
If I'd have known this would have been the first thing I said.
I would have stayed on my own podcast if I'd known you guys were going to be such idiots.
You're right. I was recording the other podcast, 100% Hockey, with Millard and Shannon. But and then I was kept in the waiting room for 8 minutes, and so.
Oh my God.
And then I come on with you, and one of the hosts says, let's create more room in an area that you can't score from. That makes total sense.
You ever been to his house? Have you ever been to his house? You actually sit behind the TV.
That's right.
That is one of the funniest things you've ever said.
And I'm hilarious.
We have mirrors.
You are hilarious. That is a great man. You're quick-witted.
Yeah.
And that's why he waits 8 minutes to get into this show, because he loves talking to us, my friends.
Yeah, that's right. He just shakes his head and then has a laugh.
Go back to it. Why do you say that, Jeff? Why should they move the net out?
You know what? I'm just throwing it out there as an idea. Just I played the whole time with it.
Are you backtracking now?
Are
you full moonwalking?
I'm just chumming.
I've never seen him do this before.
I'm just chumming. Oh my God, I love it.
Usually he tells us to shut up.
Yeah.
I played in the league. You guys are donkeys. Shut up. And this time he's backtracking.
I think we should cut down the room behind the net even more. Let's cut it in half so the goalie can barely get back.
I'm just throwing it out there. I'm like, what do you think? What do you think? You know, because behind
Why do you think you should cut it in half, though?
I don't know, I'm just making that up.
Okay.
Hey, you know what? So you can trip on the back of the net when you go behind the net. That's some little room we want back there.
Yeah, well, you can't score from back there unless you're doing a Michigan. And then maybe it'll cut down all the kids trying to do Michigans at your skates, Sharples. Sharples are responsible for 75 hockey players whose primary focus in Vegas is to score in the Michigan.
Yeah, that's right. And you know, I love everything about that play.
Is that why you want the room bigger? Is that why you want the room bigger back there so you can have your kids?
Yeah, exactly. Because I was like, you know what? We can do half an hour on teaching people the Michigan. Just keep on letting it roll off your stick.
When the kids do it, and I haven't been out with Sharples in a while, but when the kids do it, we just look at each other and go, "What? You're not getting enough touches with the puck that you got. As soon as you get 10 seconds of freedom, you go behind the net to practice a play that you're never ever going to score on, ever." Yeah. And by the way, you've been working on this for 3 months, and you still can't get the puck in your stick to do it.
Funny.
So stop it.
The best part about it
guys, I'm trying my hardest.
Well, you're down at the other end skating around. I don't know
Working on
why
the
you don't
Michigan.
join us. You're getting ridiculed anyways. And the best part is the parents on the bench, they'll come out and chat. And there's Lord Bagg at the other end. We're like, yeah, we're not sure if he's coming down with us today.
We don't even know who that guy is.
Yeah, he's skating around.
He's got to stay 500 feet away from the other kids.
For listeners who don't know, Sharples will run lessons with 4 or 5 kids for an hour, and he'll have pucks and drills and everything going great. And at the other end of the ice, all by himself, there's 100 feet of ice, all by himself, wearing a bucket that the chin strap hangs down, skating around is Lord Bagg, just skating around gingerly and then flipping the odd puck on the net. All by himself.
That's me.
Gingerly. Danny Gallopin. Oh my God. You know what? When Danny Gallopin was talking about gingerly, I don't think he was talking about Lord Bagg.
Yes, he was. Yes, he was, Jeff. You feel better now that you've backtracked from behind the space behind the net?
Hey, Mallard's the best. He just loves to team up with whoever he thinks, hey, the tide's rising over here. Here I come. I'm on that team now.
That's hilarious.
I'm an independent contractor.
Oh, you are the best independent contractor there is.
Jeff and I just cry after the show. You just giggle.
I just walk away. Sharples and I are together. Sharples and I are doing TV together tomorrow night, I believe.
What show you? What game are you guys doing?
Golden Knights.
Yeah. The Golden Knights and who?
The Blackhawks.
Yeah.
Original 6 coming to Vegas, baby.
I don't talk about the other team very often.
Are you going to have to talk to him because of the kid?
No, we got some good stuff. I watched them play Utah last night when I got home, and and then Seth Jones snapped after the game. Said we're the same team we were 4 years ago. We're the same team we were game 1 of this season.
Well, that'll go hand in hand with Bruce Cassidy because he wasn't very happy after the LA loss.
Butchie, I love it. So you have a really interesting setup tomorrow night because Chicago kind of laid it on the Golden Knights the last time they played in the Windy City. And so you have a team that's owly and a team that's owly. So I would expect Vegas to come with a really big effort. And I don't know, Chicago was right there last night, but you know what? Give Utah credit. Utah's looking like they want a piece of the wild card. So we'll see what they bring tomorrow.
And they got 2 defensemen back. I think that's their trade deadline. I don't think they do a lot of adding or selling. They just take their chances to see if they can get in and ride this wave.
Yeah. And you know what? They Shane Doan's kid. I watched him play here in the American League. I did a game with our old friend B-Mac.
Yeah.
And I watched Doan, and he was very good in the American League. And last night, he looks like a young and up-and-coming superstar. Very much quicker than he looked down here, even though he was good.
I saw him last American League game I was at. Henderson played Tucson, and Josh, was the best player in the game.
Yeah.
He's an NHL player.
100%. I don't think he goes back down now. He set up the game-winning goal last night with a sweet pass. And, you know, getting out of Arizona and actually into Salt Lake where they have some fans and some push behind the team, I think they've got some really good young players there. And some of their veterans, like Krause, are really coming on. So you never know. Utah might be able to make a run for it. Calgary seems to be pretty firm on that, where they're trying to go. The big question mark is whether Vancouver can get themselves out of neutral here and
they can't
fight their way back.
No, Vancouver will never win a game again.
What about, hey, do you think St. Louis has got an outside shot at it, Millard?
Yeah, but everybody's talking about selling in St. Louis. Braden Schenn, he's got 2 more years left in his deal after this year, and everybody's after Braden Schenn.
Yeah,
he's a captain.
Yeah. Well,
so I don't know how you still make a push for the playoffs, but trade one of your best players.
Yeah.
I wouldn't trade Braden Schenn, but if somebody knocks my socks off, maybe it's a worthwhile deal. But
one of the GMs was talking the other day about, you got to have, you still have to have your foundational pieces to your organization. And the Schenn brothers are very, very highly regarded, but Braden in St. Louis is 100% a foundation piece in that
pillar.
organization. So what do you do, right? Like, I
But
mean, because
every team would love him, but that also tells you should love him, and I think they
Right.
do.
St. Louis should be one of the teams that want him too. Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
if
Yeah.
St. Louis didn't have him, you'd be like, we should go get that guy.
Yeah.
I'm just surprised at
Yeah.
how much conversation there is about a guy with 2 years left on his deal after this year and makes over $6 million.
Yeah.
That's a huge ad. And Toronto, which, not to be surprised, is involved in everything. Toronto's apparently right in the middle of it. And do they need another center? They have Tavares. Do they bring in Schenn and let Tavares walk at the end of the year because he's unrestricted and it saves them a couple of dollars? There might be that swap out in play with Brad Treliving, former Wheat King. I don't know, but it surprises me how much everybody's in on a player with term left.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen that? The NHL is very much like that meme where the guy's walking with the hot girl and the other hot girl walks by and he's busy looking at the other hot girl. That's the NHL a lot of times. They have the hot girl and they're like, we should get that hot girl.
You got a recording of me walking down the
Yeah,
street?
I do. I do. And it's weird. It's in your bike shorts and your bike shoes, and it's a really weird walk you have.
Click, 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 click.
Yeah. You got a
Look at
neck
that.
like an owl.
Neck like an owl.
It just spins 360 degrees. It doesn't, it's very loose. That's how he can that's how he can take on cars all the time and still be walking.
Thinking about the last
Very
accident the other day.
flexible.
Yeah, very flexible. So
You were thinking about it? You're having a little bit
I
of
was
a
going past where I got hit by the car a year and a half ago, and I was thinking about it. The impact of head into hood came flooding back.
no doubt. I'm sure.
was that
all
the
good.
first one or the second one?
That was the second one.
The
First one I can't remember.
First one is great because we tune in and there's Millard that looks like he's been in the ring with.
Yeah, it wasn't pretty. My wife sent me a text saying more makeup.
Yeah,
That's
like you couldn't
funny.
hide the amount of makeup for the bruising. There's Millard.
That was
cutting
ugly.
his nose and black eyes and stuff.
I may have
we're like
pushed the return to television a little bit
Yeah.
on that
Yeah.
one.
I'll be fine. I'll be fine.
What are we talking about again?
Yeah. Who is this game? What is this game?
Yeah. So that's good.
I'm talking about the Finnish game, the outdoor Finnish game.
Yeah.
Hey, can we have an outdoor game this weekend?
Yep. Against between Columbus and Detroit, and they are neck and neck in that battle for the playoff spot in the Eastern Conference. It is an outdoor game that has the great tie-in to Ohio State University. What they did in the football season this year is pretty cool, but then to have it directly impacting the playoff race is amazing.
Yes.
Well,
do they say how it's selling? Is it selling well? Do you know?
It's like incredible good. They're expecting 90,000 people. You got Michigan,
Awesome.
and remember, this is
awesome.
Michigan-Ohio State, the great rivalry.
Right.
Ohio State lost to Michigan this year, and basically called it even by winning the national championship. They won the national championship, and it was like, okay, but we still lost to Michigan. Like that rivalry is incredible. So I'm looking forward to it.
I don't think that Columbus is going to have the same problem at home as Ohio State did with the team from Michigan. I think they'll be flying. I think they'll be shot literally out of the canoe that they have there. I hope it's a great game. Detroit's finally find their footing. A couple teams we don't talk about it much mostly because Detroit's in the East and Columbus is in the West, but
I got it.
I will never get over that.
Oh, that's the greatest ever.
You guys can all. I think there's a term called "suck it." You guys can do that.
Yeah. They don't have the rivalry they once had because they're in different conferences.
For a while there, it didn't even seem like Columbus was in the league, so I didn't pay attention.
But Columbus was in the West, and so is Detroit.
Yeah. Detroit was.
Yes.
Yep.
So
Yes.
there's a few teams that I could. Toronto was in the West for a long time.
You know, it's crazy when you think about it, like how much.
No, I don't want to think about it.
You think Nashville is still in the West when there's Central Time Zone, like that really affects a lot.
I don't know how Nashville's in the West. It took me 5 hours to get back from Nashville direct the other day. Like that's got to affect their travel
Did you drive?
immensely. That's what it felt like. It was stupid. It was so long. I was just like, my brain was like, I'm like, this shouldn't be taking that long, and it took that long. So that's the fact that because I can get to New York in 5 hours
I
driving
don't know about that.
on a plane from here, from LA.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a 5 hour flight. There's a pilot on here. Let's ask Jeff.
Yeah.
We should just keep debating and have him just listening to us.
Just listening.
You guys, yeah. Well, you guys are the experts. What I don't know anything about that.
And then when he pipes in, we're just like, shh.
What is LA to LaGuardia?
JFK or Newark, there is no LA to LaGuardia because LaGuardia has a limit of
runway.
how far you can go. Just like DCA does. So they allow certain times.
Way to go.
Sometimes
got to talk
slot
more.
restricted. Well, you asked for it. I don't know if there's anybody, maybe on a Saturday once in a while someone tries to go further west, but yeah. You're looking, depending on the winds, high fours to low fives going that way, and you can take her up around 6 coming back depending on the winds. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm sorry, Lord Bagg. I apologize.
Yeah, you make it seem like I've never been on a plane before.
Do you watch the little app of your plane flying across the country?
Of course I do. I keep taking pictures of it. Guess what? I'm over the Mojave now.
Do you have one of those in the cockpit?
Yeah, you have an iPad. You can.
If anybody should have one, it should be them.
Yeah. We got everybody. You can watch what you're doing. You're like, oh, we're here now. Okay. Or you can just look down at your screen and go, yeah, you could figure out where you are that way too. So yeah, everybody has an iPad.
Do you have crosswords or freestyle or anything on that iPad?
You got all your company stuff on there. We used to carry these big binders around with all the approach plates and everything for all the airports. Now it's on your iPad. Very, very slick.
8-letter for rough air. Turbulence.
Turbulence. Is it really 8 letters?
I don't know. I was close. I was like,
I think he's within. He's close, but he's not quite there.
I think it's 9.
But that's
it's
school
9.
district.
Darn it! That would have been so brilliant if it was actually 8.
It would have been brilliant. I was one off of brilliance. I was just.
Do you
smart.
have to leave the iPad in the cockpit, or do you get to take it home?
You take it with you. Yeah.
So it's got to be charged.
Yeah, but they have loaner ones too.
And end up in Albuquerque. You ever forget your charger and end up in Albuquerque?
Well, everybody's got a charger, so you can. And there's chargers on the airplanes too. So, yeah.
The worst chargers are in the airplanes and in the airport. They're always bent and don't work right.
Oh my! Have you ever had the seats? You're like, oh, these are brand new seats. You go to plug in. It's not, what are people doing like with those chargers?
They're fitting like a plug-in, an AC plug-in in there.
Oh, it's crazy. It's like, soft hands, a little softer.
You should make that in your announcements. It's going to take us 5 hours to get out to JFK today. If you could just take your time when plugging in your phone back there, we'd appreciate it. Passengers go. I'll get back to you as we get back up.
What would you
play
two
games
do
with the announcement, like paper, rock, scissors, or rock, paper, scissors, whatever it's called, to see who does the announcement?
You know what? Whoever's flying, the other pilot usually does any announcements. But
flying, and I got this.
Yeah, exactly. You know what? I'd love to see you two. How the hell would you two go anywhere without talking in the microphone? You'd be talking to people for 5 hours going across the country.
You get nervous.
It'd be very difficult for you two to be quiet.
Do you get nervous when you have to press the button?
Well, what you do, you learn pretty early on, is you say very similar the same pattern a lot, because once you go down the rabbit hole, then people have got to be in the back going, I'm not sure about this guy. So yep.
I'd like to hear more emotion in your voice.
Emotion.
Talking about, yeah.
Guys, this flight's going to be crazy. Are you ready?
We are expecting a great flight today. We are going to cut 2 hours off this flight. Like a little emotion. It's very monotone from the
And
cockpit.
just to let you know, I hate turbulence as much as you. I get so scared.
Yeah. Nobody likes turbulence.
That freaks me out. 9-letter word.
9-letter word. Starts with a T.
Here's the name. Pipokalita. I'm not sure I'm saying it right, but that's the outdoor sport in Finland. That skates on a soccer field, but it's not the same hockey stick, and it's not the same puck.
It's almost like a grass hockey stick, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's a combination like between field hockey and ice hockey.
7 Zambonis out there to clean the ice.
But you can shoot with both sides of the stick in this one. In field hockey, you can only shoot.
Right-handed.
Yeah, which is weird. I didn't know that until last summer.
Millard, what do you think of the games so far? Since
clunky.
You've been back, very clunky, right?
Clunky.
But expected, right?
I think we misjudged how much the midseason break and everybody taking their foot off the gas and stepping away was going to impact the results.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't expected.
Yeah, very unexpected result.
Guys.
Having trouble holding leads, just odd results, blowouts, allowing lots of goals. It's been weird, and it might take another week before we find a rhythm.
And some teams might not find that rhythm, and that's the big. There's the haves and have-nots coming out of this thing, and you got some teams that. Like Calgary gets a huge win in Washington last night, that could send them skyward, right up the standings.
I think that's kind of cool though. It kind of makes it interesting. Like it's not everything smooth. You know what I mean?
Unpredictability is fun.
Yeah,
but it's what's crazy is it's not like the start of the season or the preseason where no one has their system. Everybody knows their system. They're just coming back unable to. Yeah, you just.
No, I think it's mental. Everybody,
I agree with you 100%.
Everybody checked out for a week and a half, and it's hard to get back to that intensity.
Well, that's interesting.
Yeah, guys were golfing or they're at the beach.
Everybody went to the beach, right?
Yeah, everybody went somewhere.
Swam to islands to snorkel with long sleeve shirts on.
Yeah, rash guards are called. Yes,
rash guards.
But I'll be ready for you tomorrow night, Millard. They said you're doing so well, Sharps. We're going to give you another week of the 4 Nations break. So I got an extra week under my belt, ready to roll.
Why is it called a rash guard? Is that like to protect you from sunburn? Is that what it is?
Yeah, just
the wax on the board, right?
Or the sand.
The sand.
Very comfy. They're great. So,
do you surf, Lord Bagg?
Like a rock.
You know what he does?
Mostly in the water with the board floating on my ankle. With that little thing.
I use the board as a life jacket.
Basically.
Thank goodness for that cord.
Oh my, yeah.
We went paddleboarding in Long Beach. Remember that?
That was good days.
Some poor guy went out with his wife to paddleboard the other day. And I was like,
got this.
This is pretty. I'm like, I'm not liking this, because when Lord Bagg and I went, it was flat calm, and we definitely had a humbling experience. Well, this poor gentleman, he must have tried to get on the board 15 times.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, and everyone on the beach after a while was like, oh.
I don't enjoy paddleboarding. I don't get it. You don't go fast enough. You got to keep switching sides. It doesn't do anything for me. We have a paddleboard on PEI. We go out into the Northumberland Strait, and I'm like, I'm fine if I never go on that thing again.
Have you seen the electric surfboard?
I like those.
Guy had one out the other day, and in the lagoon or whatever you call that thing, and he fell off it and just circled him.
Really?
Couldn't
You
get it.
you
Yeah,
couldn't get.
couldn't go to get it. Just sitting in the middle. Oh fuck. That was great.
It'd be worse if I was trying to run him over.
Yeah, absolutely. But it was just circling him. Get me, get me, get me.
That's kind of like when you lose Lou on the leash. Just
Yeah.
circles you. Good luck. Good luck.
But they look so much fun. Like they just look like they're fun. So, and by the way, a good surfing podcast is something salt. Yeah, that was a good
Enjoying orange
speech.
slices.
That was good. That was a great speech. That was just a great speech. Here's a great podcast. I don't know the name. And just a douche. Oh my God. Anyways, you guys continue.
I don't know
on.
whether he's delivering a line right now or whether he's actually fumbling for the name.
I'm fumbling for the name.
I was just.
It's called Pinch My Salt.
Oh, like I actually wasn't sure what was happening right then.
All right, let me talk about this podcast for a second. So it's this kid that is raised to be a surfer, and he gets a head injury. Like he's on top of his game, sponsored by everybody, and he's surfing and he gets a head injury and is basically wiped off the map, like of life. And he fights back and he starts surfing again. And he's just a really funny guy, but he talks about head injuries and returning from head injuries. And I think it's a great one for hockey because there is so many head injuries in hockey. So,
Yeah.
anyways, pinch my salt.
You ever had a head injury?
Have you talked to me?
But that's making fun of head injuries.
No, I'm talking. That's basic. Oh, are you talking? There's all of a sudden we're gonna be serious, guys. No more making fun.
He's like,
I've had a couple of bad concussions, and the last one I had, the one I couldn't remember, it was like, holy cow! I've covered hockey forever, and I don't think I ever had the empathy for players that went through it that I should have.
It's unbelievable that we've ignored the brain. Everybody's concerned about the knee, the hip, but nobody cares about the head. The head is the most important thing. So yeah, it's unbelievable. And you should listen to this podcast. You might, get some stuff out of it because
Dash of pepper.
No, pinch my salt.
Pinch my salt.
I'll send it to you afterwards. But yeah, I think
get turned on to this thing.
He's a fan and he contacted me and I just listened to it one day and I listen to it at the gym every once in a while. It just makes me laugh because they're goofy.
Sounds like you're a fan.
I am a fan now, but he was a fan and then now I'm
What do you
fan.
do at the gym? Do you walk around, have a sip of water?
Oh, no.
I sit in the chair, look at people.
Yeah. You should see Lord Bagg go on the elliptical.
On the elliptical, me and the ladies.
The octopus thing, arms and legs going everywhere.
Yeah.
Here we go. We're going. Come on, girls.
All right, I gotta get going here. So you
we bring up the gym and Jeff's like, I'm not gonna get taken down.
Yeah.
Are you going to the gym?
I better go. I got an appointment this afternoon, so I need to do some other stuff in the meantime. But what is funny? I'll have to I had a little chuckle at Cam Miller the other night. He sends me a picture of you, Jamie, and Eggy on the desk, and he goes, and sometimes Jeff below it. So I was just gonna say, if you guys want to keep going without me, sometimes Jeff.
No, it's you, me, and Elliot.
I love it. Oh, is it us three tomorrow?
Yeah.
Looking forward to it. Looking forward. Two
goalies and a defenseman.
I'm in Lexington, Kentucky tomorrow night. I'll try to get it on the TV there in the green room. I'll try to. So I can.
Do you have an iPad like Jeff?
It just tells me where I'm going. Just it'd be great if he just came over the thing. Guys, is your captain speaking? I was wondering if I could borrow an iPad of anybody.
My iPad just died. Does anybody have an iPad I could use so I could get us to Albuquerque?
Has anybody
Albuquerque?
Has anybody following us on the thing? If you could just let me know where we are, that'd be appreciated.
Script Sports tomorrow night, 6:30 pregame show with Millard, Sharples, and Elliot.
Best pregame in the league.
It's slightly more focused than this.
It's not you guys much. But not much. You guys are fun. You guys, it's a real fun show, and I think you guys should be national.
Why don't you come to a game and come on the set one night?
Okay. I'll do it.
Easy.
No, I don't like to do things.
Seriously, let's do that.
I would definitely, yeah. That'd be fun. Did you? I got to bring up before I was listening to 32 Thoughts, and Elliot
Why don't you
said
listen to
something.
100% hockey?
Okay, I'll start listening to that.
Just
There's a
took his
guy,
buddy down.
but he brought up that teams would like to get the Schenn brothers because they think they're going to be the next big thing in podcasting, hockey, like hockey podcasting, kind of like the Mannings are
Mhm.
huge. I didn't had no idea. Are they fun interviews or
They're
something
great
that I
guys.
great?
Great
Are they
guys.
just great
Yeah.
guys?
Luke and Braden are awesome. Yeah.
But are they
But
good
don't
on?
you? I think
Are they,
you get the
I've never
Tkachuks for
listened to their
that.
podcast. I didn't even know they had a podcast.
I don't think they do. That's what they
No.
were just talking about. They're gonna force it on them, like to do it, kind of thing. So
So teams want both Schenns. So Toronto's going to reacquire Luke, and grab Braden and
they
start
were
a
talking
podcast.
well afterwards after they're done. They're like it's part of the deal, and I'm just like, what? Where did
How
this
does the
come
team
from?
benefit from that?
Yeah,
Well,
I'm not. I'll have to do some digging into that one.
and
But
then
I will
yell at,
say this.
and then yell at Elliot, like
Yeah,
you yell at me.
ask Elliot.
That's
I don't
stupid,
yell at
Elliot.
you. I don't yell at you.
You come on from your other podcast and you're all fired up because you fight with John, and then you just bring your anger in. You're like, John got me, so I'll take down Bagg. Shut up, dummy.
Well, John's my mentor, and he has a very specific way of looking at the world, and I like it. And every now and
Rose-colored
then I
glasses.
veer from the way he looks at the world, and I get told to get back in my lane.
That's really funny.
You know what's funny is who else is like that is Gilly. Ryan McGill. I'm taking Gilly down. I'll be talking to him. I'll give him an opinion. Nope, that's not the way it is, Sharps. I'm like,
Nope.
okay, Gilly, no problem.
That's really, it just
Yeah.
says no. It just goes
It's like
no.
Gilly there's no black and white with Gilly, boy. No gray. It's black and white with Gilly. It's pretty funny.
I was
We've been
confused,
out
but there's no
golfing.
black and white.
I'm like, at least you're going to take my money, Gilly. At least let me have an opinion. Nope, they can't have that. So
No.
I'm like, okay.
Fastest golfer I've ever played with.
Awesome
as
guy.
he barely gets out of the cart and plants his feet, and he hits the ball.
And then he knows
I've missed
exactly
more shots playing golf with that guy than anybody else because I'm just assume that he's going to take like 1/10 of a second, and the ball's gone. I'm like, where'd that go?
You should have John and Gilly do a podcast together.
Oh, that would be good. That would be good.
So, all right, boys, I got to run. You got
No
some
grace,
shout-outs?
guys. No grace, guys. That's what it'd be called.
No grace.
No,
No
I'll have to
grace.
practice.
What do you got, Millard? Do you want to shout anybody out today?
You know who I was at? We had Ray Ferraro on the other day. I love talking to Ray because you can go anywhere with Ray. I've learned over the years that I could come up with the most random thing, and having Ray on earlier this week was fun. And we talked about Rob Ray getting a puck in the head between the benches.
That
And
was fantastic.
And then with the audio slip, which was perfect. Like if you're ever going to do that, that's the time to do it. And some of the stories about being between the benches. So there's my shout out to Ferraro. Good weekend.
Nice.
Yeah, he
Nice.
was the pride of Trail, British Columbia.
Yes.
I'm gonna shout out Jeremy Roenick and Tim Peel. I'm gonna be doing their podcast on Friday, so I'll do their podcast.
They have
on
a
Friday,
podcast
so.
together?
Yeah, it's called Stripes and Skypes or something. The Stripes and Stripes and something.
Hey,
Yeah, they have a
that's good.
podcast.
And a dash
We
of
wouldn't
pepper.
expect you to know the answer to the pod. Yeah,
Chef, it's all about me.
It pinch of salt, right? Pinch of salt.
Pinch of salt and pepper.
Yeah, yeah.
Stripes and numbers.
Okay, fair enough.
Jeff,
Okay.
what do you got going?
I'm gonna shout out.
He's the guy that's gotta go.
I gotta go. But I gotta shout out the folks at Maui. Treated us fantastic just over there. Lahaina, which had a really tough go last year. They're back. They're rebuilding. So back on the 9th Island in Vegas. So thank you to everybody in Maui. That was great people and great week over there. And love to all.
Does your airline fly over there?
100%. Yep.
Nice.
So
That's
does
the best.
Buskies.
That's the best way to fly over there is 100%. By the way,
100%, and it's
I hate
also,
airlines that fly 75% over.
Just like hockey, you can't just give 75% hockey. You only can have 100%.